Hey guys, what is up? This is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and this movie review is on the second movie, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is basically about like Spider-Man, also known as, Peter Parker, who is confident within his powers as Spider-Man. He embraces his new role as a hero and spends time with Gwen Stacy in between protecting New York from criminals. However, his greatest battle yet is about to begin with the emergence of Electro, played by Jamie Foxx. Like, Peter must confront an enemy far more powerful than he is. And when his old friend Harry Osborn returns, Peter comes to realize that all his enemies have one thing in common: Oscorp. And yeah, and pretty much, the movie's basically filled with a lot of villains, including like Harry Osborn and Electro that Jamie Foxx plays. So recently, I think yesterday, basically yesterday, I actually watched The Amazing Spider-Man 2 on Amazon Prime Video. I actually rented it there. And for what it is, I will say, because despite how some people out there didn't really like this movie that much, since this movie got like mixed reviews and like a lot of people hated this movie, I gotta say, for me, I actually liked it. Because I actually kind of like it, because just like how I say the Amazing Spider-Man films are very underrated and they deserve more appreciation, and I couldn't agree more with you guys that this movie did not deserve the hate it got. And yes, they were supposed to make more sequels, like the Amazing Spider-Man 3. Like, they were supposed to make more sequels and spin-offs after the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but all those got scrapped and canceled. And of course, yeah, and then of course all there is we got is basically, Spider-Man No Way Home with Andrew Garfield. And yeah, because if you've seen my last review, you'll know you get the idea. But the performances in this movie I thought were pretty good as the first movie. Andrew Garfield is still a pretty fun super like Spider-Man. And Emma Stone's still good as, Gwen Stacy, and like Emma Stone. She's always a talent. She's always a cute actress, and and Jamie Foxx, I thought he wasn't too bad as Electro. Like, Jamie Foxx, because I thought he did pretty good. Oh yeah, and of course, just like how the first Amazing Spider-Man film had a Stan Lee cameo, like Stan Lee himself actually appears during the opening scene of this movie, where Stan Lee plays a graduation like participant, and of course he recognizes one of the guys. Of course, I like the way he says it. Like, yeah, because pretty much, the opening to this movie is pretty much how Peter Parker is trying to get to Gwen Stacy's graduation ceremony. And yeah, and of course Stan Lee makes a cameo during the opening scene. And The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was also the very first Columbia Pictures release to use the 2014 to 2021 Sony logo transition animation. It's basically how the Sony logo appears before the Columbia Pictures logo, along with other Sony-owned company logos, like, the Sony logo that appears. Yeah, but then of course until they stopped using it in 2021, all the way up until, even though the 2014 Sony logo actually does make a surprise appearance at the beginning of Hotel Transylvania Transformania, and of course the letter O grows vampire teeth. But I'm not really here to talk about that. As for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I thought in my unpopular opinion, I thought it was a pretty good sequel to The Amazing Spider-Man, because I'm like one of those people who think that these movies don't really deserve the hate it got. And Mark Webb himself, I gotta say, Mark Webb, at least he tried, of course, because he did a pretty good job directing these two movies. And I know he directed a couple other films that I've seen before. Like, I know his first movie he directed was 500 Days of Summer, which I really loved. 500 Days of Summer. Yeah, 500 Days of Summer. And he also directed this 2017 movie I have on Blu-ray called Gifted. Gifted, it has Chris Evans and Jenny Slate. And yes, I also heard that Mark Webb is also working on a Disney live-action remake of Snow White. But I'm kind of starting to lose interest in Disney live-action remakes and adaptations. Because the last Disney remake I will be seeing is The Little Mermaid. Because The Little Mermaid is probably going to be my last Disney remake, like, for like, you know, until before I give up on Disney live-action remakes and adaptations. Yeah, but I just wanted to point that out, so... But yeah, because it's just, you know, Mark Webb who works on these films. Like, at least he did good. And I almost forgot to mention, James Horner actually did the music score to the first Amazing Spider-Man. And Hans Zimmer technically did the music for this movie as well. The music in both movies I thought were pretty good as well. Like, the music itself was a lot of fun. Yeah. So aside from all that, overall, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a pretty good movie. And I'm going to give The Amazing Spider-Man 2 3.5 out of 5 stars. And there you have it, guys. That's going to be it for my movie review on The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And that's going to be it for this video. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as always, thanks for watching. And until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying, goodbye, everybody, and that's about it.